In Colombia, the International Conference on the Political Process in Venezuela concluded. Foreign Minister Álvaro Leiva announced the points reached at the meeting. In the United States, after the First Republic Bank was rescued, its stock plunged by nearly 50% at the close of trading, hitting a new record low. And in Sudan, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees warned of further displacement of people as thousands flee to neighboring Chad and South Sudan. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Colombia's Foreign Minister Álvaro Leiva announced the points reached at the International Conference on the Political Process in Venezuela convened by President Gustavo Petro. In the conference's final statement, the Colombian Foreign Minister said the agreements include to set up an electoral schedule to agree on the lifting of the sanctions and to continue the negotiation process in Mexico. Leiva stated that a group of representatives of the countries participating in the activity will notify the President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, and sectors of the opposition of the results of the conference for their evaluation. The Colombian Foreign Minister said that the 20 nations participating in the summit will be summoned again to follow up on the joint positions discussed.
The need to establish an electoral timetable that would allow the holding of free and transparent elections with full guarantees for all Venezuelan actors. In this regard, the importance of taking into account the recommendations of the European Union Election Observation Mission for the 2021 was mentioned. That the steps agreed upon to the satisfaction of the parties run simultaneously, which took place in Mexico, be accompanied by the acceleration of the implementation of the Single Trust Fund for Social Investment in Venezuela.
On the other hand, Colombia's President Gustavo Petro said there can be no room for sanctions against Venezuela and Latin America.
America cannot be a place for sanctions. America has to be a place for freedom, and America has to be a place for democracy. In our countries, and in the Venezuelan case, I think we have to walk on two tracks at the same time. Yes, we have to establish the election schedule and the guarantee that the people can freely and sovereignly choose what they want, without pressure, but also the other track, that of the elimination of sanctions.
The President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, met on Tuesday with the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves. The meeting was held at the Miraflores Palace in Caracas to fulfill a work agenda aimed at strengthening the cooperation between both nations. Gonsalves arrived in Venezuela on Monday in what becomes his second visit to the Caribbean country. Venezuela and St. Vincent and the Grenadines maintain friendly and cooperation relations since 1991. In Argentina, President Alberto Fernández accused the country's right wing of maintaining practices that threaten the economy. The president warned during a joint statement with his Romanian counterpart Klaus Iohannis that he rejected the permanent practices of the Argentinian right wing of installing rumors abroad and withdrawing their yields from the exchange market. In this context, the president ratified that the Minister of Economy, Sergio Massa, is working energetically to face the current scenario amidst of the rise of the illegal dollar. He also stated that the national right wing must think about the working class instead of its mercantile interests.
It is a regular practice of the Argentinian right wing to first spread rumors in the morning, operate during the whole day, and when the afternoon is over, take their profits out of the exchange market, thus hurting the savings of the majority of the Argentinians. They have always done the same thing. They have always gone abroad to slander the popular governments. Always.
International TV Bricks Network has signed a partnership agreement with teleSUR, one of the leading media resources in Latin America. TV Bricks reporter Alexei Pimenov has the details on this topic.
The International TV BRICS network has signed a cooperation agreement with teleSUR. It is one of the leading media channels in Latin America and also broadcasts in Europe, Africa, North America, and the Middle East.
Collaboration on launching our own partner networks allows us to create content that is of most interest to users. We need to be more open to working together and seeking common ground for the benefit of all humanity. The teleSUR and TV BRICS alliance is a step towards the multipolar world we are fighting for. Let us continue to move towards this just goal together.
The agreement will enable the parties to share content as well as create joint products. It is part of the TV BRICS network strategy to increase the number of partners from the countries that make up the BRICS Plus format.
TV BRICS International Media Network sees the beginning of a strategic partnership with teleSUR to promote the Latin America and BRICS agenda in the world by joining forces and leveraging each other's strength to further strengthen and expand multilateral ties between the peoples and countries of BRICS and the Global South.
The teleSUR channel has been broadcasting since 2005. It has a potential audience of around 500 million viewers on all continents.
The shortage of rainfall due to global warming has forced the Panama Canal to reduce the draft of ships passing through the interoceanic waterway amid a water supply crisis that threatens the future of this maritime route. The Panama Canal Authority said the reductions were due to the recent drought in the region, which has resulted in falling water levels in the nearby lakes. Despite implementing water-saving measures, the authority said the level of Gatun Lake has been falling faster than anticipated, putting pressure on the canal. As a result, vessels transiting the expanded Neo-Panamax locks will have to comply with a maximum depth of 14.5 meters, down from 15.2 meters, forcing vessels to wait less or transport a reduced volume of goods. This is the fifth adjustment of the 2023 dry season.
This year has been the most difficult year I have seen in terms of the drought. It has been difficult for the fishers, for the residents, because those who bring their cargo from the other side of the lake have to carry it on their shoulders. When the water was here, the cars would come and fetch it. So this has been one of the most difficult years.
Let's take a short break, but first remember you can follow us on TikTok at teleSUR English, in which you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and much more. For the stories coming up, stay with us. Welcome back from the South. In the United States, the First Republic Bank that had been recently rescued plunged again with a drop of more than 40% in this business. Its stocks was suspended several times during the day on New York Wall Street. This comes after the company was bailed out by 11 banks with more than $30 billion at the end of March. The company announced that it will implement several cost-cutting measures in the second quarter, including a 20 to 25% reduction in its workforce. The bank had already suffered a major blow on Wall Street in mid-March with the liquidation of another bank, Silvergate, which was followed by the failures of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. In the United States, an explosion and fire at an oil plant in the city of Illinois leaves at least one dead and one injured. According to authorities, emergency crews are at the Seneca Petroleum Company oil plant after an explosion occurred in one of its asphalt tanks. So far, the Will County Sheriff's Office has only confirmed that the man injured was taken to a nearby hospital in the city of Joliet. Meanwhile, firefighters urge the community to stay away from the area affected by the blast while they conduct the investigations to determine the cause of the incident. On Tuesday, President Luis Ignacio da Silva began a two-day visit to Spain, during which he will discuss bilateral issues with his counterpart Pedro Sanchez. Lula and Sanchez will hold a bilateral summit that could represent a new strategic alliance between the European Union and Latin America for the coming years. Afterwards, a joint appearance is planned. During the exchange, economic issues will prevail as Spain is the second largest investor in Brazil. In addition, in the upcoming days, the Spanish executive will assume the presidency of the European Union and the Brazilian executive the presidency of Mercosur. Therefore, trade agreements between the blocs will be discussed. Defense Minister of Russia, Syria, Turkey, and Iran discussed in Moscow measures to strengthen Syrian security. The military entity said that the ministers of the four nations discussed practical measures to strengthen the security of the Syrian Arab Republic and to normalize Turkish-Syrian relations. Special attention was paid to the fight against all forms of threat of terrorism and all extremist groups on the Syrian territory. According to the agency, the parties reaffirmed their commitment to preserving Syria's territorial integrity as well as the need to intensify efforts for the prompt repatriation of Syrian refugees. The Russian Foreign Ministry announced on Tuesday a ban on entry to Russian territory for some Moldovan officials as a reciprocal response to Moldova's diplomacy. The measure refers to the decision taken on April 19th by the Moldovan authorities to arbitrarily declare an employee of the Russian embassy in Moldova persona non grata. In turn, the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs also declared an employee of the embassy of Moldova in Russia persona non grata. The note issued by the Russian Foreign Ministry also refers to the anti-Russian statements regularly made by Moldovan authorities and the fact that they have supported Europe in its sanctions against Russia, along with the expulsion of Russian diplomats. North Korea's foreign ministry has expressed support for Russia on the occasion of the 4th anniversary of leader Kim Jong-un's visit and meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. North Korea's Deputy Foreign Minister Im Chon-il said Korea wishes both the Russian government and people success in defending the legitimate security and interests of their country. The statement states that Russia and North Korea fall into a historical tradition of fighting against a common enemy and facing the foreign danger of war. Kim Jong-un visited Russia on April 24, 2019 and met with President Putin in Vladivostok. It was the first meeting of the two leaders and the first trip of the Korean leader to Russia since he took over in 2011. teleSUR English continues to grow. You can now tune in from 33 different African countries through StarSat. Dial 461 and enjoy Latin American alternative broadcasts. One final short break and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back from the South. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa announced on Tuesday that his country will withdraw from the International Criminal Court. The South African leader's pronouncement came during the reception of his Finnish counterpart, Sauli Vainamo Niinisto. Ramaphosa detailed that the stance was caused by the recent announcement that an arrest warrant was issued for Russian President Vladimir Putin, who is expected to attend the BRICS Group Summit in South Africa in August. In 2017, the African National Congress decided to abandon the Rome Statute after the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for the arrest of former Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir. Subsequently, that determination was abandoned and now resumed because of the stance of the international organization against President Putin, which is in several countries is seen as biased, double standard, and politically motivated. On Tuesday in Sudan, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees warned of further displacements of people, with thousands fleeing to neighboring Chad and South Sudan. Despite a tenuous ceasefire between the two warring Sudanese generals battling for control of the country, the fighting has plunged Sudan into chaos, pushing the already heavily aid-dependent African nation to the brink of collapse. Since the clashes erupted on April 15th, at least 20,000 Sudanese have fled the country. Many foreign governments have raced to evacuate their embassy staff and citizens from Sudan, and many Sudanese are desperately seeking ways to escape the chaos. Meanwhile, the UN Population Fund has also warned that the fighting is threatening tens of thousands of pregnant women, including 24,000 expected to give birth in the coming weeks. For 219,000 pregnant women across the country, it is too dangerous to venture outside their homes to seek urgent care in hospitals and clinics amid the clashes. In this context, the governments of China and Russia affirmed that they will coordinate efforts to solve the crisis in the Middle East and North Africa. In a statement, the Russian foreign minister said that on the occasion of the consultative conference of special envoys of BRICS that took place in Cape Town, the Russian deputy foreign minister Mikhail Bogdanov and the special envoy of China on the Middle East, Shai Yun, exchanged views on the subject. The document noted that the parties emphasized the situation in Sudan, Yemen, Syria, and the Persian Gulf. They also confirmed the unchanged readiness of Russia and China to coordinate efforts to settle the conflicts and crises in the Middle East and North Africa by political means. Beach volleyball games started on Tuesday at Hugo Chavez Frias Coliseum in La Guaira. On the women's side, Russia beat Venezuela Teams B 2-0 with scores of 21-13 and 21-9. Grenada lost to Bolivia by 21-11 and 21-16. Cuba defeated Nicaragua by 21-14 and 21-17, and Venezuela's Team A defeated Bolivia 3-0 with scores of 21-10, 19-21, and 15-05. On the men's side, Venezuela's B team lost to Russia 3-0 by scores of 24-22, 16-21, and 12-15, while Cuba beat Venezuela Team A by 21-14 and 21-15. On the other hand, Grenada lost to Nicaragua in 2 sets by 21-7 and 21-7 as well. And finally, Cuba prevailed over Venezuela's Team B by 21-19 and 21-12. Bolivia and Venezuela took their last gold medals in swimming. On the final day of swimming, Bolivian Maria Rivera won the women's 50-meter freestyle. The silver medal went to Fabiana Pese of Venezuela's Team A, while the bronze went to Sariel Nelson of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In the men's 50 meters freestyle, Jesus Lopez from Venezuela's Team A won the gold medal. The silver medal went to Emil Perez from Venezuela's Team B, and the bronze medal went to Reimer Alvarez, also from Venezuela's Team B. After 5 days of competitions in the 5th edition of ALBA Games, Venezuela so far leads the medal list with 87 golds, 92 silvers, and 72 bronzes. Cuba is second by nations with 29 gold, 18 silvers, and 13 bronzes, while Nicaragua accumulated 5 golds, 13 silvers, and 37 bronzes as a third place. Bolivia ranks 4th with 3 golds, 1 silver, and 4 bronze. The rest of delegations have not added any medals so far. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.